Welcome to the Inebrious channel. This is our first product review, clear ice makers. The first time I was served a cocktail with ice that added to the visual appeal of the drink, it was a perfectly clear sphere of ice in an old-fashioned. I was so impressed, I was on a mission to have that at home and serve my guests the same thing. In my search, I found these ridiculously overpriced ice presses that melt a cube into a sphere. I wasn't about to buy one of those, they still didn't make the ice clear, and I still don't understand why those things are a thing. Sphere ice molds work just fine. I learned clear ice comes from directional freezing, and if you remove the top of a mini cooler, fill it with water, put it in the freezer and take it out when it's halfway frozen, the top part of ice will be perfectly clear. Now, let's face it, even if my freezer did have room for that, my wife isn't going to be happy about a big cooler in the freezer. And it seems like a lot of effort to have to chop up those large blocks of ice. One of the least expensive devices on the market that applied the directional freezing concept was Tovolo. About $20, and it's supposed to make one clear sphere and one normal sphere of ice. So I bought one. You're supposed to fill it up in that little hole in the top. Unfortunately, when it's done, the two pieces are frozen together. As you can tell by now, they're a little difficult to remove. You also have to run pieces of it under water to separate them and remove that little separation piece. It creates a sphere with a flat bottom, which is fine for putting it in a drink. And the bottom one is cloudy, like you would expect. And the top one is kind of clear. It's pretty, but I expected a little bit more. Recently I saw a new kind of product that applies the concept of directional freezing into ice spheres. It seems no one has a patent on this, or it's just being ripped off by a bunch of folks because there are a dozen or so sellers on Amazon selling the exact same thing. It's basically a tiny cooler of ice that you fill to the internal line with hot water, then lower the rubber mold into the cooler and freeze. The directions read to not let it freeze for longer than 30 hours. I assume there is an issue with the mold not coming out if the whole cooler of water freezes. So you'll want to set a timer. This was 36 hours, and you can see almost everything in the bottom there is still water. And actually one of the spheres didn't freeze all the way, but it was pretty close, so that's good enough for a cocktail. The cheapest one of these systems I found was $30. There's a link in the description and also on the website, Inebrious.com. And the results are beautiful. These spheres are perfectly clear. They do have small seam lines where the molds meet each other, and sometimes a little top or bottom peg from where the water comes in or out of the mold. But these are great. I make a few, put them in a freezer bag and keep them in the freezer, and then make a few more. They're such good spheres, they're hard to keep still on a counter. I was so happy with the spheres, I decided to buy exactly the same system for cubes, and the results were similar. I'm so happy with these. I'm looking forward to this system coming with different shapes, hopefully soon. Ice sticks for Collins drinks. That'd be great. So I'm gonna go put these in my freezer bag. Thanks for watching the Inebrious channel. For links to the equipment I used, visit Inebrious.com and in the description. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button below and subscribe to this channel below to see more videos on cocktail creation and alcohol education.